Reevaluating love. After a psychopath revelation. Basically, my BF has never really been the most loving. He doesn't seem to care about anyone or anything except me, or at least I thought. But when I was looking through some of his old stuff, I found out that he had been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, which is the medical term for a psychopath. Apparently, it's genetic, because his father also was diagnosed with it and is currently in jail for killing his wife, my BF's mother. I've read his testimony before, and his only reason was because I felt like it. It was chilling, but I didn't think my boyfriend was like that at all. I knew he didn't really care about most people, but he is extremely charming. How he seduced me, I guess. However, now that I know of my boyfriend's diagnosis, I've been going through our entire 4-year relationship and reconsidering it. In our 4 years of dating, he doesn't really say, "I love you," out of the blue. He will only say it if I say it first. I never really noticed this, but now that I know about his diagnosis, well, that changes things. The way he says "I love you" is, frankly, devoid of emotions as well. He says it matter-of-factly, not like he actually means it. There's a lot of other things he does that I guess wouldn't be considered normal. He has never hit me or been physically violent, nor has he verbally abused me, but he treats me like a child. He likes to order me around to do things for him. Everything has to be his way. He respects my opinion, and will even change his plans to work around mine. But ultimately, he is the decision maker. I've pointed this out to him in the past, and he says that he values my opinion immensely, and that I am the smartest person he has met. I used to believe him, but what if this is just another tactic to manipulate me? He also has a high-paying executive job, and I've heard from his employees that he can be very cruel to them. I would always dismiss their concerns because I thought they were just jealous, but now I realize that isn't the case. Update 1. I finally decided to go and talk to him about it. Since it was a conversation, I don't know word for word what he or I said, but I was taking notes on what he was saying for my own benefit and for the purposes of this post. He noticed that I was taking notes, but didn't seem to care, didn't comment on them. Without further ado, here is a summary of what transpired in script form, since IDK how else to write it. I tried my best to make it the most accurate I could to reality, but obviously I can't remember every little thing that happened. Thus, it may sound overly dramatic, unrealistic at times, which is why I attached the notes just in case you wanted the raw facts. Me, yesterday when you were at work, I found some boxes. I was looking through them and found this form. I showed the form with his diagnosis. I was wondering why you didn't tell me about this at all, and I want you to be completely honest, no more lying. Him, I don't see why it was necessary to tell you. Besides, I made no attempt to hide it. Me, you do realize that this makes me question our entire relationship? Him, why? Me, well, how am I supposed to know you haven't just been manipulating me? Him, I was under the impression you were also manipulating me. Were you not? Me, is silent because I am shocked. Him, you have tried to make me a better person. You constantly want me to make friends. You chastise me when I act a certain way toward my employees. I have become your pet project. You believe that your kind presence will make me kind. Me, you aren't a project, you're my boyfriend. Him, there isn't a difference. Isn't a relationship supposed to be mutually beneficial? I improve you, you improve me. Me, is close to tears, so you don't love me, you just want benefits? Him, I never said that. I do love you. Me, how do I know you aren't lying? When you've lied this entire time? I was getting angry at this point. He was still not reacting. Him, if you truly believe I am a liar, then nothing I do will prove that assumption wrong. Me, well, prove that you love me then. Him, I love the conversations we have. I love that you accept me for who I am. I love your intelligence and wit. I have said it before and I'll say it again. You are the smartest person I have ever met. Me, but that doesn't sound very psychopathic. Him, not everything I do has to be psychopathic. Me, well then, have you ever killed anyone or anything? Him, I have killed rodents. That's it. Me, disgusted. Him, it was a long time ago. I was much younger then, and my mother had recently been murdered. Me, that's no excuse. Did you kill them brutally? Him, I suppose. He described how he killed them with almost glee, and I'm not going to say it here because it is not good. Me, do you feel guilty about that at all? I was inching away from him at this point because I was very disturbed. Him, no. Though if you are concerned, I have no desire to do that again. Me, well, that's good at least. Do you think you would kill a human? Him, like my father did? Me, I guess? Him, I will never be my father. I don't like that implication. Me, sorry. Him, why are you asking me all these questions? Me, I'm a bit scared of you. Him, I have never done anything to harm you. Me, I know, I just need answers. When did you get your diagnosis? Him, 11 years ago. Me, okay, but why? Him, name redacted, told me I should. Me, you don't normally listen to people's advice. Him, admittedly, after she mentioned it, I wondered if I had inherited any of my father's characteristics. So, I went. Me, do you think the diagnosis is correct? Him, I do. Though it has been quite a while, and I never got a second opinion, so perhaps it has changed. After this, we started talking about personal things I will not share on the internet. Me, would you be upset if I broke up with you? Him, yes. He didn't look upset at all. Me, I think we need to take a break for a month. I need to sort my feelings out. This seems to come out of nowhere, but I was considering this throughout the conversation, and his lack of emotion was the deciding factor. Him actually looks angry, upset for a second, but then is calm again. So maybe I'm just imagining things after 4 years together. You're going to leave just because of a piece of paper? Me, I'm not saying it's forever. I just need to take some time away from you. Him, fine. Where will you stay? Me, here. Him, this is my house, and since you are the one breaking up with me, I don't think it's fair that I leave. Me, whatever. Him, for what it's worth, it would be very unfortunate to lose you. Me, I don't want to lose you either, but I need a break. I went upstairs to pack essentials, then I left. Right before, I gave him a peck on the lips. That was a lapse of judgment on my part. I will say that he didn't look happy that I was leaving, and as I was walking to leave, he asked me to stay. I said no, he said fine, and left it at that. So yeah, there you have it. I still love him, and I do think he was genuine when he said he loved me, but I'm not sure I can get over all of the things he's done. I went into this conversation hopeful, but as soon as he said he didn't feel it was necessary to tell me, my emotions took over, and I started asking way more accusatory questions. To be honest, I wish I had been more logical in my approach. Maybe then we would have arrived at a different conclusion. If you're wondering, I am staying with a friend at the moment. He doesn't know which friend. I just need this month to regroup and decide what my next steps are. He was one of the best parts of my life. I had never connected to anyone the way I did with him. I have no clue what I will do, and frankly, I need advice. With all that has happened, what do you think I should do? Also, I have no way to prove if he's telling the truth or not. So before you yell at me in the comments saying these are all lies, just know that all I know about his diagnosis is what he's told me. I may try and track down the psychologist he went to, but I think that would be a breach of confidentiality if she told me anything about him. Anyways, please feel free to give me advice. Final update. I was still staying with my friend. I must admit, those first few days were hell to go through. Every 5 minutes, I would think about my boyfriend and want to contact him. I kept trying to distract myself, but of course my thoughts kept wandering back. He followed through on his word and didn't contact me, which I appreciate as it made me feel less tempted. However, it was still extremely hard to distance myself when he was literally a text message away. On the 4th day of our separation, the friend I'm staying with apparently bumped into him at the grocery store. I don't know if she actually came upon him by accident or if she purposefully sought him out, but either way, they had a conversation. She asked him where I was, even though she knew where I was, and he said it was none of her business. She then lied to him and said that she hadn't seen me in a while, apparently in an attempt to worry him. He again was not fazed and did not contact me, which either means he could care less about my location, suspects I'm with my friend, or simply doesn't want to bother me. In the next few weeks, I continued to try and distract myself by working, studying, or talking with my friends. I also decided to research more about ASPD during this time, and I talked to a therapist about the struggles I have faced in my relationship. She gave me a lot of clarity and convinced me that, should I choose to make this work, he needs to come with me to couples therapy in order to work through our problems. Finally, I discussed ASPD and psychopathy with a psychologist who specializes in it. She told me what a few of you said in the comments, that in order to be diagnosed with psychopathy, you have to have violent tendencies and show no remorse whatsoever. She warned me against continuing the relationship because while he loves me in his own way, as soon as I stop benefiting him, he will most likely drop me. Still, in my naivety, I decided to talk to him as a last-ditch effort to save our relationship. I broke my almost month-long silence and texted him, asking to meet at a park should he want to see me. He said yes, and we met up yesterday. I told him that I believed him when he said that he loved me, and that I wanted to make this work, but there would have to be conditions such as couples therapy and counseling for his childhood trauma. I also requested that he act nicer to his employees, as I didn't want to be with someone who treated people below him that badly. He immediately shut that down and said therapy was for idiots who don't know how to control themselves. He also didn't understand why he should treat his employees nicely as they were incompetent. He didn't raise his voice, probably because we were in public if I'm being quite honest, but his demeanor was very aggressive. He said that I was only calling him out on his behavior because of his diagnosis and that I was fine with him before. However, he is wrong. In this month apart, I have realized that I wasn't fine with him before, I was just excusing his actions. I told him as such, and he got even more annoyed. He asked me why I wasted his time making him come when I could have just told him on text and been done with it. I told him I was trying to save our relationship, and he just rolled his eyes and said he couldn't believe he spent so many years with me. He then left. So yeah, could I have handled it differently? Sure, do I regret what happened? Kind of. But what's done is done, and I guess all I have to do is move forward. I'm going to have to pick up my stuff from our house later and get my name off the lease. The friend I'm staying with has been nothing but accommodating toward me and is letting me continue to stay for a while until I find myself a new place. With the pandemic, it's going to be hard, but I'm sure I will manage.